Brian Hancock will celebrate a milestone. He'll become the first trotting driver to win 700 races at Harold Park.
It's a remarkable achievement, but only natural considering Brian Hancock's pedigree. His father was a trainer, some of his 11 brothers are in the sport, and his wife Anne is a member of a fourth-generation trotting family. John Tapp reports an arrangement for whom trotting is in the blood.
He's been a familiar face at Harold Park for almost 30 years. Nowadays, he's a legend. In a sport that quickly swallows up the losers, he's risen above trotting's bad times to become the most successful horseman in Harold Park history. Brian Hancock's striking orange and black colours put the finishing touches on his portrait of success. 1,500 winners after beginning his career in the 60s, Hancock has claimed almost every big title, including the ultimate, the Inter-Dominion Grand Final.
King down the outside, takes it out. What a great win. Koala King beats Locarno.
It was Hancock's biggest thrill. His reaction, one of trotting's most heartfelt moments.
I don't know why I done it, to tell you the truth. I just sort of, the people was cheering. There was 33,000 people that night, I think, at Harold Park. The horse was a 10-to-1 chance, of course, as we all know, but it was just one of those things, you know, you go through life and as a jockey wants to win a Melbourne Cup or a Golden Slipper, you know, a harness racing guy wants to win an Inter-Dominion.
It's not a bad record for a boy from the bush. He was born in country New South Wales, one of 11 children. Now, he owns this $1 million oasis on the south coast, bordered by his own personal section of the Great Dividing Range. Brian Hancock has done it tough for most of his life, but now he and his horses are reaping the rewards. Harness racing is Brian Hancock's heartbeat, and he owes it all to a Riverina breeder called Pat Allenby and a gallant little mare called Teeny Rena. He never forgets the day he first spotted the untried filly in the paddock.
Couldn't take my eyes off her, and I was only 17 at the time, and I said, oh, that's a lovely horse, Pat, that's a lovely filly. And anyway, he said, you can have her, boy. He said, you can train her. So that's how come I got it. He said, you'll never be sold. You'll never be sold.
Hanging on, Teeny Rena doing best in the centre of the track.
I could say that Teeny Rena's been outstanding to me, you know, she has been, and she was a great mare in a year. She won a heat in Dominion Lord Mayor's Cup. She just was a great mare.
Hancock's story is one of hard slog. Unlike its thoroughbred counterpart, harness racing attracts few millionaires. The Hancock diet is hard work, 7 days a week, sometimes up to 20 hours a day when he's racing at night.
I was brought up with it. I suppose I know no different. But they are, people don't understand, they are a man-made gate. Man-made, and like the thoroughbred he was there on, or God put him here or something, but these horses were man-made. You know, we've come down from, our miles have just come down over the years, you know, and that makes you feel really proud that, you know, like back in 1948, when the year I was born, the Australian record for two-year-olds was 2:14.
I appreciate it.
You know, we've just brought it down and down and down.
Together with a small hand-picked staff, Brian Hancock does the fundamental work himself. Getting the horses geared up for training is an ordeal in itself. But once on the track, Brian Hancock is the prince of pace.
Get on me back, Greg. Righto, still. A little bit quicker. Let him up. Get on me back, Greg. Righto. Let her run home. Come on. Come on, girl. Come on, Bosley. That's it. That's quick enough. That's nice. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, I'd say he's one of the best I've ever seen with the trotter. You know? Yeah, there's not many better, is there? Probably the sort of trainer that you think you'd like to be yourself.
Talking to him, you wouldn't know that he's a, you know, what he is. He's a famous person, but to talk to him, it doesn't come through like that.
Those valleys roll forever way down south. One glimpse of timeless beauty as we thunder down this road. Make some kind of sense out of living.
The little battler from Junee is travelling a lot better than he was when he first came to the South Coast as an 18-year-old. A brickie, a milkman, a baker. Brian Hancock has done it all. But he says one job took the cake, a building maintenance worker at a hospital, which offered some interesting diversions.
There was a lot of leaking taps in the nurses' quarters, you know, it was great. So he always waited for the leaking taps in the nurses' quarters, so you go and fix a leaking tap or something, so it was, you know, it was real good.
Another of Brian's old jobs keeps calling him back.
Brian, still flogging those horses?
Yeah, still got that, right? There you go, mate, good.
Good, Brian.
Yeah, real beauty. That's great.
Still hanging around.
Yeah, that's great.
Hancock spent 7 years of his life in this eerie environment, hundreds of feet below the Earth's surface.
I think it was the best job I ever had. The comradeship and the things down there, you know, you're 6-7 mile underground and he's with the same bunch of guys, 6 guys, you know, it was a great job. It was, I really loved it actually, and I'd have been still there if I never took up the horses full time, I'd say.
Had Brian Hancock not swapped the mine shaft for the sulky shaft, harness racing would have been robbed of one of its greats. Nowadays, little dust settles on Brian Hancock. He spends most of his time kicking it in the faces of his opposition.
That's when the excitement's all about, you know, all your hard work comes to here, so, you know, you go home happy or disappointed, but, you know, either way, it's a good day out, really. It's, you know, that's what it's all about, the racing part of it.
It's been rumoured trotting might lose Brian Hancock one day down the track to the more affluent thoroughbred racing ranks. Should that day ever come, the galloping world would be the big winner.
I don't remember as a good driver or a good trainer. I'd love to be remembered as a very good horseman. And I hope I left something on this earth when I leave, that's something that I left something to help some bugger along the road.
John Tapp reporting. It's an indication of Brian Hancock's generosity that many hundreds of people use his stables without being charged a penny. His theory is to give, and the sport will give back.
Yes, he's